So, good evening.
Good evening.
How's it been, lad?
Been alright, man. How's it been for you?
It's been grand. Good old time.
Alright.
Yeah,
So, you gave me a movie to watch.
Indeed I did.
It was called I Lost My Body.
Indeed it was.
And this whole podcast is going to be us, like, delving into the deeper meanings of this movie.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, watch it right now. It's such a short movie. It's like 1
70
hour.
minutes.
Yeah, it's like 70 minutes. It's very short, very good. And you just need to watch it.
It's one of the best animated movies I've ever seen.
Yep, I'll back that as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Alright, so where do we start?
I don't know. Do you want to start? Or shall I start? Because there's a lot.
I'll just give an overview of the movie. Yeah. So it's about this kid, Naufel. He his hand gets severed off, and the hand goes on a trip throughout the entirety of France to get back to his body. And that's the premise of it. When I heard that premise, I was like, yo, I'm on this movie. But yeah, it's so much more than that. It is so much more than that.
Yeah, it's like during the essentially the like travel of the hand to the body, it's like a discovery of old memories, the past of Naufel, and it's very good. It's a French film, by the way.
Yes, but there is an English dub by Dev Patel. It's pretty nice.
It's very good. So,
indeed.
Do you want to go first into deep meanings, or shall I?
Right, so I'll start off with... So, when I first watched the movie, I had no idea. I can't lie. When I went in to watch the movie, I was just watching it. I wasn't, like, watching it, you know?
Yeah,
so
like surface level.
Yeah. So, I was just looking surface level. And then by the time I finished it, I was like, what? So I had to think a lot about it, because I did look up for explanations, nothing came up. So I just spent a lot of time thinking about the movie itself, and then I came to an idea. So I came back to that thing about the fly and the thing about the crane. That was always my base point that I would come back to. So early on in the movie, it shows a flashback with Naufel and his dad. And his dad says, Naufel's trying to catch a fly, but his dad always says, you're never going to catch it, because you keep trying to go for it where it can see you. So what you have to do is take it by surprise, like swipe your hand when it least expects it, and then you'll be able to catch it. It's always one step ahead of you. So this, for me, this comes back completely with the hand and Naufel. The hand is trying to swipe to get back to his body, but Naufel is always one step ahead, and then by the end he is literally out. He is like literally always one step ahead, always in front of the hand, so that it will never connect back to it. Now we save that for later, because we'll come back to that. And then we come to the crane, and Naufel later on in the story, he's talking to someone and he says to them, do you believe in fate? And they say, kind of, yeah. And he's like, I believe that the only way we can escape fate is by doing something completely irrational, something we never think of. So say you're walking and then you jump onto that crane. Surprise, surprise, by the end of the movie, he grabs a plank of wood, sets up as a ramp, and just jumps onto that crane. So the way this links back to the hand, as I said, he's outdoing fate. He is taking that step ahead, and fate is his hand, his old body, his old past, his self, his, you know, all of his aspirations, everything that made up the good and bad of him is his hand. And his hand also kind of represents fate, and he's outpacing it. He's leaving it behind and he's moving forward, and he's just always going to stay that one step ahead of it.
I kind of looked at it in a different way.
In a different way. All right, let's
look at it as the fly is fate itself.
Okay, yeah.
So
oh yeah, because it's constantly. Oh yeah.
And then essentially, like by the end of the film, he finally catches it by surprise and jumps into the crane.
Fair enough.
So in the bigger picture, he does catch the fly.
Not bad.
And
Yeah,
another cool
yeah,
thing
go
that you
on.
didn't mention was when Naofel jumps onto the crane, he actually has a tape recorder with him, right? That he's had since he was a child, and he
Yeah.
would record a lot of moments with his family, including a very traumatic event in which he actually distracts his father with the recorder and causes an accident that kills both of his parents.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the film, another character is listening to his recording. But when Naofel goes to jump onto the crane and change his fate, he rewrites his recorder, and therefore it's like a sense of he's rewriting his past, like you said when you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Definitely. That,
Another thing?
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you know that the last shot in the film is it goes back in time to the sand when he flies off like a plane.
Yeah.
You know how he leaves a hand mark in the sand?
Yeah, that I was talking about this. It's so sick how that is the last, like one of the last shots.
It's like he leaves his fate, he leaves the imprint of his past behind, and he moves forward.
Moving forward, yeah. And
Very good.
I love that shot with him on the crane, and he's lying down. He's got one leg up, and then his hand or his sleeve is just on the side of the crane, it's flapping in the wind with the snow falling. It just looks so cool.
And we both talked about our favorite scene.
Yeah, we all know the best scene in that movie was the bit where he's at the bottom of the apartment building talking to her on the thing. Such a good vibe. Just the visuals, everything in that scene is so good.
It's very warming as well, surprisingly. Like,
Yeah, it's such a warm, nice, like,
pathetic fallacy as well was incredible in that scene. I really loved it.
The
How
rain was
girl
there, and then
takes
it
away his
ends.
rain.
Yeah. Oh man, that movie is just so
It's a
nuts.
very good film. Like, surprisingly. And I was watching The Conversation, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna recommend it to you, but I thought, nah, like, because what The Conversation is, you know the directors of Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
They actually interview him.
Oh my god.
I forgot his name. And so they're talking about their own experiences with animated films, and it's more like just them talking about the stigma of animation films.
Yeah.
And so the guy said, Into the Spider-Verse opened that door again.
Yeah.
Animated films for adults. And he hopes that his film would do that, which it definitely has.
It 100% has. It's such a... Yeah.
I feel like I wish more directors would be keen on using animation.
Exactly.
Because in a way, I would say animation can let you do a lot more than real filming.
100%. And it would obviously, for some stories, like obviously we talked about this, I Lost My Body would not have worked as a live action story.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So there's so many, if you think about it, imagine how many books haven't been made into movies because of CGI problems, or you know, just the budget it would need. Let's take Skullduggery, for example.
Yeah.
I would not mind if it was an animated movie.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I'd back that. That would look sick.
You know what I wouldn't mind if it was animated as well?
What?
In the same style as I Lost My Body.
What?
The Last of Us.
Yeah, Joe, you know what?
Really would.
That would pop off.
What if they're actually going to do that? Because they were going to... Do you know they were going to make a animated film for Last of Us? And it was only going to be like 10 minutes long, but it was going to bridge the gap between part 1 and part 2.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, but then I think they ended up scrapping it. There were a few pictures you can find online.
Oh, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The animation is quite good.
It's that animation is, in itself, it's come so far from Disney, and you know, they were only really the big animation kind of, you know, like doers. They were the only ones who really did animation, and where
that's
people
really
would
where
watch
the
it.
stigma came, to be fair.
Exactly, because Disney
where it came
movies,
from.
as much as we love them, they are
like 50 years of just straight anime movies for children.
exactly.
As we stuff. And did you hear about Deadpool?
Oh yeah, what wasn't Deadpool gonna? They started off with the
What was that?
animated.
No. It was like recently.
Oh, recently. What?
The guy was talking about it, and he was like, Deadpool 3 is probably not going to happen with Marvel anytime soon.
Oh yeah, no, I can see that, because honestly, I'd say, while I respect Marvel, you know, they're popping off right now, I have a lot more respect for DC, for taking those risks and making movies which no one else would.
Joker was an amazing film.
Exactly.
It was an amazing film. And
but
did I send you
Marvel could never.
the link to that video?
Yeah.
This is what an Oscar-winning Joker scene looks like. It is that is such a sick. Like, okay, if anyone out there is interested in like acting, drama, things like that,
yeah,
you need to watch this YouTube video called "This is what an Oscar-winning Joker scene looks like."
Yeah, it's very good.
It's like 10 minutes long, but he describes like all the facial expressions, all the mood, everything. It's cool, bro. It's just showing all of his like, what's it called? Control over the acting. Yeah. It's very, very cool to watch, I think, in my opinion.
Indeed, I agree. But yeah, sure. I like what I like about I Lost My Body is that it's so it never really explains anything to you. So it's in a way,
what's it called? How do you explain that?
It's very what's it called?
Opaque?
There's a word. Opaque, yeah. I don't know, but it's like it doesn't explicitly say anything. It shows you something and you decide what it is. The hand, honestly, that was my interpretation of the story. That could not be the right one. And like I come to this with Joker as well. I kind of don't want Todd Phillips to make a second one, because then it canonizes the idea of like, so like Joker has so many different interpretations of where the story is and what's happened, that if he makes a second one, it canonizes it.
Yeah, it confirms it, and I don't want a confirmation.
I know we're not talking about Last of Us 2 until it comes out, but I want to quickly touch on that, which is why I also don't want them to focus too much on the Ellie Joel, you know, does she know about 5? Like, if that happens, small subplot, I don't want it to be a big thing, you know, but yeah.
That's why I have a lot of faith in Neil Druckmann.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to make a grounded story. He knows how to keep it realistic and like real to life. And I feel like the actors as well that are involved.
Yes, honestly, I feel like
very, very good.
Yeah, Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson already have proven themselves that they can. They know what the potential of The Last of Us. Ashley Johnson made Neil Druckmann change the writing for Ellie. And Neil Druckmann himself said he would ask Ashley Johnson, so what would you do in this situation?
Yeah. That was
like, mate. Like that. And then obviously Troy Baker, he's just a legend, isn't he?
What an actor!
Just a legend.
He's amazing.
Oh man. But yeah, let's not go into that.
Yeah, we can't go into that.
Not yet. Only
the Mafia trilogy is coming out.
Ah, yes, indeed, along with a bunch of other remasters. Saints Row 3, Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
Bit nuts.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Indeed.
Mafia 2 doesn't look that bad, to be fair. When I saw the trailer, I thought it was like, it just looks exactly the same. It looks better. It looks a bit cleaner.
Ah, right.
Facial wise, it's very, very good. I just can't wait for the first one. Do you know the story of the first one?
Kind of.
It's very cool. It's like just a very classic story of brotherhood.
Yeah. Some guy gets tied into the. Yeah.
It's sick. It's very good.
My brother watched a movie the other day, and he was wondering if you've seen it. Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino film.
Tarantino's film.
Yeah.
I need to watch that film, man.
Yeah, my brother watched it. He said it's very good.
Yeah.
It's also on Netflix.
Classic. Oh, it's actually classic film. I'll watch it tomorrow then.
Oh, mad.
It's short as well.
Yeah.
Tarantino is amazing.
He is.
Have you seen The Hateful Eight?
No, I have not, and I need to watch it.
It's one of his like less liked pictures. Like it's on the lower end, but for me, it's very good. Like I really, it's very unique. Like it's not a linear story. It's chapters.
Oh, right.
So it's like an ongoing TV series, kind of.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it. And have you seen the original Fistful of Dollars trilogy? This is separate. It's just another Western thing.
Nah.
It's very good. With Clint Eastwood. It's very good. It's old. It's from the 60s, and a lot of you guys are going to probably call me like an old man for liking these films. They're just good films, man. They're just very good
Yeah,
films.
my brother loves classic films. Like
Yeah, classic films are the one.
he really
I
likes
need to
them.
watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson.
And
I can't find it anywhere.
need to watch Psycho. That's like 1930s,
Yeah,
1940s.
1960.
Oh, it's 1960s. I swear it was like
Yeah,
older than
it's
that.
quite- Have you seen To Kill a Mockingbird?
I need to watch it. I do need to watch
That
it.
is honestly Oscar-winning scene is in that film. It's a very good example of an Oscar-winning scene in that film.
Not
Awesome,
bad.
amazing scene. I watched that film just to watch that scene over and over again. It's amazing. It's like pure cinema. It's really good.
Not bad.
Just like Joker, it's
Yeah.
pure cinema. Just love
And we all know the Oscar-winning scene for "I Lost My Body." We've discussed this. It pops off.
it. Yeah.
But I'm kind of stumped it didn't win. I can't lie.
I understand why.
I understand why. I can 100% see. Yeah, we got like one bill at the box office, and it deserves it. Honestly, it's a very good movie. But I Lost My Body has that edge, you know. It has that little edge.
In my opinion, on Toy Story 4 is very weird. It's a good film. It's really good, in my opinion. It's like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's very
short.
well written.
It's too short, and on top of that, it to me personally, it doesn't live up to Toy Story 3.
Yeah, Toy Story 3 was a banger. But do you know what?
That was an amazing end.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about it, and they did not like it. They did not like Toy Story 4, and Kobe. But I was discussing with them, and I'm not like trashing on his opinion. If you don't like the movie, that's your thing. But like I thought it was quite interesting that his reasoning was that he said most of the movie felt like filler. But that is exactly Toy Story style, you know, going on that crazy childish adventure, you know, trying to break someone out from a prison cell. That, you know, that's exactly Toy Story's, you know, that childish, you know.
It's what gives it like
What gives it its spark, and
spark,
yeah, and that's why that's why I love Toy Story in the first place, and that's why I would say like the first and second one, while they have that, they don't put it to the level that Toy Story 3 and 4 do. So 3 and 4 are on their own. 3 is the best, obviously. 4 is very good as well. 2 and 1 I kind of put in the same level.
I agree with that. But mine would be like my ranking of Toy Story. 3, 1, 4, 2. And Toy Story 2
Toy
is
Story
good.
1's classic. Toy Story 1 is classic.
That's just the thing for me. Toy Story 1 is such a classic. It's so rewatchable in my opinion because it's actually funny.
Yeah,
It's one of very few movies nowadays that is actually very funny. Like, I'm sorry, but Marvel is terrible at comedy.
Oh my god, their comedy is the most forced.
This is weird to say. Joker is funny in all Marvel movies because Todd Phillips is a comedic master, and if you can do comedy, this is one of my favorite directorial quotes. If you can make someone laugh, you can make them cry.
Yeah, 100%.
And Todd Phillips can do that to such an extent.
It pops off. He does pop off.
Man, it's very good. I would love him to be behind Last of Us movie. 100% I would back him.
Oh, I would back that.
That trickery kind of skill, like that shaky camera work.
Yeah, I get you, but like at the same time, I fully want like. I know that Neil Druckmann's creative director, but I would love to see him behind the camera. I could fully see it because when he walked into The Last of Us, he had no experience of directing a game. But he did it. But he did it, and he did it well. He did it so well that how many awards did Last of Us win? 120.
Over 200.
Oh my.
Over 200.
Yeah, exactly. If that's not telling you that Neil Druckmann is talented, then nothing is going to tell you that. So honestly, put him behind the camera and I'll back it. I'll watch it, no doubt. 100%. But the thing which they haven't talked about is whether it's going to be the same story or its own. And
I think it's a retelling.
Oh, it's retelling.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Honestly, I would have watched either, but I really want to see Joel and Ellie on the big screen. I can't lie. Just
who would you cast as Joel?
Joel is such a hard person.
We talked about this quite a few times, actually.
Yeah. obviously Hugh Jackman's there, man. He's right there.
Really
And
Marshall Green.
yeah, and
What's it called? Rampage?
Upgrade,
That's what it is. Upgrade.
and
Rampage
also
is
When
the
They See
film with
Us.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. There's probably some others.
There was one other guy, but I can't remember his name. What film is he?
But honestly, like,
Oh, yes. It's a bit weird, John Krasinski.
yeah, John Krasinski, I can see.
He's very fatherly anyway.
Another thing, I wanna say, like, I get because I can fully see this happening. I don't want people to get angry if Joel isn't white, because
Oh, yeah.
with a lot of, because what I've noticed with a lot of things is Neil Druckmann said this in the Grounded documentary, that like he said it about like male and female, but I guess the same thing goes to race. He said like Ellie could have been a boy, Tess could have been Joel, and Joel could have been Tess. It wouldn't have made a difference. It's the characters that matter. It doesn't matter what race Ellie and Joel are, as long as they're true to the characters, you know.
100%.
Someone of a different race. Yeah.
Want them to look the same.
Yeah. But at the same time,
Yeah.
if it's at the cost of their acting, then I will 100% take someone else.
And you know what? PlayStation have a budget. They have a big budget.
Yeah. It's HBO.
They could do it. Oh yeah, HBO.
see
Yeah.
that.
HBO and PlayStation Studios, right? It's going to be one of its first. That's a big budget, and I would not be upset if it was entirely CGI.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I feel like having new actors kind of takes away from the charisma and the charm
Yeah.
of the original. So I wouldn't mind if it was just like a straight cut. But then they would have to change the story, because you can't just, that's just profiteering at that point. I'll be doing the same thing, just you don't play as them.
Like it popped off, and I was gonna say, like, do you know what would bring tears to my eyes in the show? Just something simple. It's not even the scene with Joel and, do you know what I would really like, if in the show, when they probably will, when they do the scene with Ellie and Joel in the bedroom, like that sounds so bad, but when they're in that kid's room, and she's reading the diary and not doing anything with Joel, and they're arguing, I hope they add in Ashley Johnson's, you know, her little ad-lib there. Yeah, I hope they still do that in the show, just, you know, just to pay respects. But this is a completely different topic now, but me and my brother talk about this a lot. But when translating a book to a movie or a book to a show, it's always difficult, because on the one hand, you don't want to do a Lion King and just tell the same story, so that it's just boring. It's just like the same story. We've watched it again, what have you changed? But at the same time, it can't be too different that it's not true to its origins. So Spider-Man Homecoming,
it's the source material.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, exactly.
I would say is the thing about The Last of Us that is so amazing, and the thing that a lot of movies don't do. I think the most recent example is Joker.
Yeah.
It tells a story from one perspective, and that's why a video game is so amazing, and why Joker was so amazing in my opinion, because you create that attachment. And that's like the driving point. You don't want anything to happen to them because you spent so much time with them.
100%.
So that's going to be difficult to do, because a movie is hard to stay with one perspective. So
and I was carrying on with what I was saying before about like like translating from one media to another, is that there is certain things that you can do in a game that you cannot do in a show. Do you know what I mean? And things that you can do in shows that you will do way better than in a game. So I would say, like, with the show, they would definitely have to tweak the script somewhat, because every episode has to end somewhere, you know what I mean? But if you play the game, there is no if you think about it, there aren't like clear cuts where you could put episodes in and then end it there and make an episode like
The only ones I
fulfilling
can
enough.
think of is the seasons, but the
Yeah,
seasons
yeah.
are too long to do that.
Way too long.
And that's why I wouldn't mind if it was like season 1, summer, part 1,
Yeah.
part 2, part 3. And then
Yeah.
like winter, part 1, part 2, part 3. But then that's
Yeah.
where you come, like what your point is comes in. What I would love,
Mhm.
which I think is a very like decent idea, is they what's it called? So they do episodes from Joel and Ellie's perspective,
Mhm.
and they do episodes from Henry and Sam's perspective.
Oh my, that would be so.
And then
crunk.
they keep going in separate plot points, like
And then
literally
they-
different. And then at that one point, bam, they clash.
Yeah.
And then they go along together, and then only. Oh, I'm not gonna say, but then. What
Yeah.
happens after?
Yeah, but thing.
That scene.
I
Oh
think-
my god! Like,
yeah,
I can
yeah,
name
that-
like 3 or 4 scenes in The Last of Us that make me tear up every time.
And you know
I've
what?
finished
Those
it
are
like 10 times.
untouchable scenes. You cannot touch them. They have to be in the show. If you're making the story of Joel and Ellie, those have to be there. They're major plot points, like massive landmarks to do with that story. But it's those little bits around it, you know, like
What are the scenes? Oh, sorry, Karen.
it's like those little scenes around it, like say the ambush, stuff like those.
Yeah.
They can tweak those, but there's scenes you cannot touch, man. You cannot touch.
Forget about what I said because we're going to release a whole separate podcast on that topic.
Yeah. Honestly, we've been talking for so long, and I feel like we should end it at the same time. We're on a roll.
Yeah, we're on a roll. I think we can make this one a longer one because
Yeah.
the thing is, all right, let's just explain everything. First of all, let me just say a couple of stuff because this is a bit like separate.
Indeed.
I want to apologize for my voice in the last one.
Mhm.
It was like my voice was quite broken and scratchy, and I feel like it sounded really bad, so I apologize for that. Another thing that me and Tab are planning is we might take a break of making podcasts from now until June.
Yep.
Maybe not, but we might fit in a few here and there, but they'll be short ones because we want to make 2 back-to-back on the day Last of Us Part 2 comes out and the day before.
Yeah.
The day before we might talk about like just a summary of the whole first game and stuff like that, and then the day, well, not the day it comes out, but maybe a few days after, we might talk about first impressions and
Yeah.
first thoughts and stuff like that. So,
It's gonna be hard though because we're gonna be addicted. Gee, I'm not gonna get off
actually,
this
you
PS4.
know what? Here's the plan.
Okay.
We record one
Mhm.
ages before.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we've already recorded one, right?
Yeah. We've got one recorded about The Last of Us Part 1. Our
So that can
thoughts for the
be our
second one.
first one, and then we can record another one whenever you want, like maybe this week, next week, whenever you want,
Mhm.
and we'll just talk a lot about The Last of Us. Talk about it a lot in depth.
Yeah.
We might even make it like 45 minutes because this is
Yeah,
actually something me and Tim are very passionate about. Like,
Exactly. It's
So we
it's
can
a
talk about this
story
one.
that is just so good. It's just a well-rounded, a very well-written story.
One of the best, in my opinion.
One of
I was
the
talking
best
to my brother
stories.
about this,
Yeah.
and I kind of just had a bit of a disagreement.
Mhm.
For me, right, I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
For me, The Last of Us is my favorite game.
Yeah.
After playing it again, it's become my favorite game. It's beat Red Dead Redemption 2. Because playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again, as amazing as it is, as amazing as the world is, everything like that, the story is very, very good in Red Dead Redemption 2, but it comes nowhere near to the emotion that The Last of Us gives.
Yeah. I will say the only bit where it almost touches on Last of Us level, and it's not even there, is the ending. The ending is so good, but it
It's
doesn't.
amazing.
But The Last of Us, the thing about The Last of Us, it doesn't only need the ending. It has the whole game
Everything.
on that
The
level.
whole game. And
Yeah.
another thing I was talking about, the reason Red Dead's like fallen down from Last of Us,
Mhm.
I can go play through Red Dead, and I can go, that part's scripted, that part's scripted, that part's scripted. There is not a single moment in The Last of Us where I can say, that's scripted. That feels scripted. It doesn't feel like an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's so well written. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is well written as well. It's more the acting. The acting isn't there.
Yeah, some bit that.
That level.
But like, I'll say, there were, like, in classic Rockstar fashion, they do repeat a lot of what they say. I don't know if you noticed that even in GTA, like, some of the characters will say certain stuff like multiple times. Like, we all know the classic Red Dead 2 line, "What a goddamn mess," you know, something like that.
I have a plan.
yeah. Like, and that's not bad. I'm not, like, I could never write something as well. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because
of course.
you never know. But like,
you probably can, but
I probably could, but like, I wouldn't notice it because, you know, it's hard to critique your own work. Yeah, but it's fine. What were we saying? Huh?
It's hard to do. Oh no, I was gonna say, can we make a promise?
What?
Not really a promise. It's gonna be hard to live up to this promise.
Yeah.
When we're older, me and you need to make a film.
Yeah, man. Come on, I'm on
short
that.
film, long film, where
We can make an indie film. Because
an indie film.
Indie films pop off. There are a couple of indie films which are really good. There's one, it's so slow, and the beginning does not do the rest of the movie justice. But there's a movie called A Ghost Story. It's on Netflix. It is such an emotional roller coaster. It is such a deep movie. It's a very philosophical, you know, it's like that I Lost My Body symbolic movie. The ending is, it's like, I don't remember, but the thing is, like, when watching it, you're like, within the first 5 minutes, you'll turn it off. But if you stick through those first 5 minutes, it is so good. Because the thing about the movie is that it's very, very, very long shots. Like, there's literally, I think the first shot is them moving into their house, and it's like a 2-minute shot of them just taking boxes from the van into the house. And there's one shot, I promise you, it's like 3 minutes long. The girl is sitting there eating food in front of the camera, and then after 3 minutes she goes and vomits in the toilet. That's it. There's no reason for it to be there. The long shots don't need to be there. But the story, I'll give you the basic outline. It is about death, time, and attachment, and it's about a guy who, guess what, he dies, and his soul is watching over his wife. But here's the bit which is interesting. You don't see him. It's like, you know the classic Halloween ghost, like with like a bed sheet over with cut out eyes. That's how he's watching over her. In that, he's just got a bed sheet over him with cut out eyes, and he stays in the house that they had together, and she eventually leaves, and he's stuck. He's bound in that house, watching it through time in the future, like years into the future, where there's, like, you know, there's like futuristic, like, cars flying about and everything, and he's still bound to that house. And then it goes back in time, and it's back with, like, you know, the tribes and stuff like that, but he's still bound to that house because he's looking for something. And he looks, there's one scene, he looks out a window and he sees another ghost, and they talk to each other, but they don't speak. It's just like subtitles at the bottom. And then he's like, they just, like, it's so creepy as well, because, like, they're just bed sheets, and then he just, like, raises his hand and waves. The other one waves back. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm waiting. And then, do you know what? I'm not going to say it, because that is a very crucial part of the story, because it happens at the end, like what happens between them. But man, that movie is very good. It's like, it's one of those where, like, when you're watching it, you're like, but when you look back on it, and, like, once you've finished it, you're like, that was good. That was very good. But yeah, mate, we've waffled this podcast, mate. This has not even been a podcast. This has been a conversation, for real.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a better podcast. That's
yeah. You can always tell. Yeah, you can tell when we're just straight vibing, and it comes across better. It do be quite nice. Yeah, mate. We started off only. Do you know what the funny thing is? Before we started this, Yusuf was like, "Wait, what are we talking about?" And I was like, "I lost my body," and that's pretty much it. What have we gone on now? What have we
Red
waffled
Dead
on about?
Redemption 2, The Last of Us, A Good Story 4.
Movie, like we talked about Tarantino, we talked about actors. Oh my god, it's nuts.
I don't mind making this a really long one. And I feel like, do you really have? Oh wait, yeah, because there's a few gaps, but there haven't been many gaps in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you want to make this one an uncut one?
Yeah, I can just leave this fully uncut.
Yeah.
I don't even need to edit it. I can just like upload it straight up.
Yeah, we can do that. That's cool. So we can basically just keep talking.
Yeah.
Once it gets to like a really deep part, then
the thing is, I need to keep an eye on my screen to make sure, because after an hour it will like stop the recording.
Oh right,
so
yeah.
I'll need to. Yeah, I just need to make sure that.
So basically, the whole point of this podcast, I was gonna read something. It's like it's a poem.
You still want to do it?
Emotional. I still want to do it, but I feel like not right now. Maybe like if we have anything more to talk about, we can talk about it, because it's going to be quite draining for me, and I'm not really thought that much afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what else can we talk about then? I wanted to come on to this earlier when we were talking about Tarantino. Yeah. I don't know if it's just me. I have a feeling that Tarantino is freaking real life.
He looks like one of those guys, right?
And like I think I've seen videos of him, and I think he is kind of like, you know, he feels like he's low-key superior, but I don't know.
He is one of those people that would kind of hurt me. Because he's had very humble beginnings. Like, he did not. Do you know how he learned how to make movies? He worked in a film shop and then watched movies, and that's it. He never went to film school, nothing. That's all he did.
Indeed.
And he just has that love for it, that deep love for cinema.
Yeah, you can tell when a director loves movies. You can tell.
Todd Phillips loves movies.
Todd Phillips, yeah.
What other directors love movies?
I'll say Edgar Wright. I'll say that.
Oh yeah.
Have you? Oh my God! Have you seen his collection? I follow him and he's like, bro, I need to send you a video. Yeah, this guy is standing in a. He has a room with at least 1 million movies. I'm not lying to you. He has so many. He's watched all of them as well. That's the thing. This guy just loves movies, and it's so sad because nobody watches his movies. And so they're famous, but at the box office they don't. Yeah, it's like people watch them. Everyone knows about the Cornetto trilogy, but at the box office, he does not deliver. He overall he's made like 200 mil. That's it. But yeah, Karen.
I was gonna say, I watched this documentary. I know a lot of people aren't going to be interested because it's about cricket. It's called The Test, and it is one of the best series I've ever seen. It's only one series long. It's one of the best series I've ever seen.
Not bad.
Because what it is, it's a behind-the-scenes look at what happened with the Australian cricket team. If you guys don't know, a couple of years back, Australia were caught in one of the biggest scandals of their nation's history. They were caught cheating in a game, match fixing. Not match fixing, but they were cheating. Right? They were using like contraband in the game to give them a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And it resulted in a huge backlash. The three main players, Steve Smith, their captain, David Warner, their vice captain, Cameron Bancroft, a bit of an irrelevant guy, but still. They were banned for a year. And those two guys, the captain and the vice captain, were kicked out of the team for a year. They were scolded by the Prime Minister. They were scolded by the entire nation. Right? Everyone on the planet essentially hated them. And it's about, and that time, their coach was also involved, so he resigned. And it's about the coach, the new coach, Justin Langer, an Australian legend. He comes back to coach them, and he brings that fire back, and they come back to win the Ashes, which is the biggest sporting rivalry. Right? It's just amazingly made. It's really, I don't know about you, but when I think of sport and movies, actors, sportsmen, they're never seen as humans. They're never seen as people. They're always seen as something above. Yeah. And the great thing that this series does is it brings them down to reality, and you see how much it's affected them, how much they love the sport, right?
Yeah. That's another thing about what, like, you know, they seem so inhuman. That's why I love, like, for me, I really like interviews. I really like interviews because I when I finish a movie or a show that I really like you can tell if I like a movie or a show by if I search up interviews with the actors, because that means I've felt that connection and I just want to know more, and I've done that for like so many shows. And that's why I was thinking that if like when hopefully if I ever release my book, first thing I would do is set up a YouTube channel and just talk about it. I just release a bunch of videos just talking about the process, everything I did, you know, even my own views on it, which will probably be very depressing to most people, because like I don't know if you know this, you know, there was one person in that Grounded documentary that said an artist can never look at their own work and think it's perfect. There will always be something to fix, but you have to draw the line somewhere. Exact same thing for writing. You're never going to write the perfect book, but you have to draw the line somewhere where it's good enough, you know. But not
even good enough, like, but to you it will be it's good enough, but to everyone else it
exactly
be
that's what I mean. That's why it's so scrunked. And I wonder I wonder if those people like Stephen King, you know, the biggest authors, John Green out there, like if they ever feel I know John Green does, because John Green, for you those of you who don't know, he's very famous author, most known for, like, I hate when people mention him because of Fault in Our Stars, because that's not all he does, and it's such a stereotype that, you know, like a cringy teen romance, but that's not really his thing. His thing is more about coming of age stories. But then again, I know, like, I watched a lot of interviews with him. That's alright, because I really look up to him as a writer, and he struggles a lot with depression, and, you know, a lot with just like he doesn't like his stuff, you can tell, because they were talking about one of his books that got made into a show called Looking for Alaska, and they were quoting they were referencing a quote, and then he like mumbled it. He's like, yeah, that one. And then they're like, why do you mumble it? He's like, I haven't read the book in 15 years, so yeah. And then like, mate, okay, come on. Like, if my book was released, although I wouldn't like it, I would try to read it often, you know, just look at where you started from. But
I'm gonna be the first person to read your book. You already know that.
100%. G. I'm gonna send that right to your doorstep.
Autograph, copied, everything.
Indeed, mate. I swear, there's just so much I want to do, like writing wise. But like another thing that I've kind of, you know, I think about it a lot, is that if I do end up getting a lot of fans and stuff, and I end up writing a second book, it's not gonna be the same genre as the first, because believe it or not, I'm not sticking to one genre. Like Stephen King has a style, you know, he sticks to horrors, to thrillers, mysteries, but I can never do that. I can never stick to one genre. I want to just do everything. So after this, I'm gonna probably write a horror or a thriller or some sort of weird, you know, just like I just want to do it all. But then again, I don't know if that's a good decision, because I'll be losing, you know, fans, because maybe fans will be like one style or the other. So
on that topic, I want to read something that I wrote. It's not the main thing that I want to read. It's just something else that I wrote a while back, and it's important to me. It's important for everyone to see fame in this way.
Yeah,
it's just basically an insight of my view on fame, backlash, things like that, right?
Oh, I think I know what you're on about.
This is from my experience, and I don't mean to sound like a narcissist, or I don't mean to sound like I'm amazing, but it's just my opinion, right? It's just what I've experienced in my life. Here goes. I've had the spotlight on me for a while. I know that's really narcissistic, but it's true. Everyone's always looked at me when it comes to sport, and everyone's always compared with me when it comes to education. I don't have a problem with that, because I live for competition. I love that. I just love, you know, fighting with people. I love going against people, trying to prove a point. It's what makes me me. The competition isn't the problem, the spotlight is. Everyone loves being in the limelight, and I did love it. But if there's one thing quarantine has taught me, it's that I never longed for the noise, but for the silence. I want to make it in the dark, so that people will be surprised when they see me. And everyone hates surprises. The path I've chosen to go down as a person is full of cameras and flashing lights, and I love that. Not for the fame, but for the hate. People will hate me, and that's driving me. How a person deals with negative energy is, to me, an indication of character. If you can be comfortable in the dirt, then you'll be your best in the clouds. Comfort is understanding. Understand where you came from so that you can understand how hard you worked to get where you are. Live for hatred, because if people hate you, they see you as a threat. And that, my friends, is the biggest compliment you can ever receive.
Indeed. Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be very misunderstood. I'm not trying to say, be hated, be Hitler. Right? I'm not trying to say that. You have to understand that there isn't, not everyone is going to like you.
There is no benefit of being liked by everyone, let's be honest. But unless you're Keanu Reeves. Unless you're Keanu Reeves,
everyone loves Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves legend. But if you want to make it in life, right, people are going to hate you. I'm going to be playing cricket. I'm going to be representing a nation. Rival nation's going to hate me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really look forward to that.
Indeed.
Because as a person, obviously, I'm very, very depressed, very in my own emotions a lot. But yeah. I love the idea because people are jealous of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't want to be some crazy, outgoing, arrogant guy. I'm going to be the most humble person I can be. I want to set an example for the future generations and stuff, but I'm not going to let anything get to me. And no one should ever let anything get to them, because you're here on this earth to do what you're meant to do, and you want to prove a point. Think of, here's how I want to put this into perspective to make it understood a lot easier. Think of a friendship that you have had. A good friendship, a strong friendship. The strongest friendships that you can have always stem from a dislike or hatred of one another. A mild hatred, but hatred is there.
Indeed.
That's very strong. Most strong friendships stem from when you see something like, nah, I don't really like them. You get to know them and they prove you wrong. And now those people are maybe some of those people that you love. I've had an experience like that. I remember someone I talk to a lot nowadays. I always thought, nah, they're arrogant, they're a little annoying. No, they're not my kind of person. I started talking to them and I love them. They're like probably the best person I've ever met. Right? They prove me wrong. And if you can prove someone wrong, it takes that hatred straight to love, and love of the highest form. And that's what's going to make me popular. I want to be loved, but I also want to be hated. I want to be hated so that I can become loved. I want to work for where I want to be, in a way.
I agree.
So I just wanted to clear that up, because a lot of people message me like, oh, so you want to be hated? No, man. I want to be an example. I want to be a role model. I want to be a hero. But I don't want a fairy tale. I want to work. I want to work to get there.
Yeah. Oh.
On that note, should I just read the thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I just want to give some backstory into this. I don't want to explain it that much. It's a poem called Unspoken. It's not a very good poem because I wrote it. I wrote it in about 20 minutes. And it's a story of a soldier. It's very hard for me to read. I'm just going to admit this now because I've had to practice this a lot. I told you before I had to practice it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best not to cry or anything. I think the conversation we just had overall has kind of made me feel really good, so I shouldn't have a problem.
I'm here as well, so you should be good.
Yeah. We can explain it and I can talk about it afterwards. Okay, it's called Unspoken. There was a boy who saw soldiers on TV and decided one day, that's going to be me. So he worked to get there. He worked hard and long, and when the day came, he got nothing wrong. He was triumphant, did what he had to. The sergeant even came and said, boy, we need you. He took that as a yes, which was his first mistake, for a sergeant's smile is always fake. He cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried until he could no longer. This boy had a friend that he'd known for years, but the friend wasn't into war but more into gears. This friend was blessed. He could string things together, and one day he'd manufacture a world's bestseller. This friend taught him that life wasn't easy. You'll get another chance, you just have to trust me. And that was enough for the boy to go to work and to finally receive what he truly deserved. He tried again, and he made it this time. Now all he had to do was make sure he shined. He was top of the class. No one came near. All that hard work paid off because he had nothing to fear. Yet one day, he slipped. He started to snap. His mind? Not yet, but his arm did crack. Was that it? Was that the final hit? Of course it wasn't, but it felt like it. He cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried until he could no longer. He was sent back home to his family and his friends, who told him his journey had not met its end. He recovered, slowly but surely, but his mind had quickly fallen poorly. What if I lost it? What if I can't fight? What if all of my dreams are just out of sight? His arm had recovered, but his mind was broken, with so many words going unspoken. Years went by, and he did get better. Not his mind, that would come later. Time does heal, everyone said. Oh, then why would it lead to everyone dead? He tried to smile and look his best, but that didn't help the tightness in his chest. It was all over. He could no longer hide. The only thing left was to try suicide. But he couldn't do it. He didn't have the guts. Thank God he didn't. But now his eyes wouldn't shut. So he cried and cried and cried and cried, 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 until he could no longer. He still went to work with a smile on his face, so no one in the room would be on his case. It was their last day, so they played some games, where he was great and he came first place. Since that day, he has felt better, but there's still patches where the weather gets wetter. That's not the end, but there's no more to stay, because at least I'm still going day by day.
That was kind of hard to listen to as well, as you reading it, I could tell. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Do you want to say anything?
Okay, I just want to explain it a bit. So clearly the poem's about me. It's about the last 5 years of my life. Okay, all the stuff that happened in it did happen, but in a different way. It wasn't soldiers, it was cricketers. It wasn't my arm, it was my ankle. And I was actually off for a week when I hurt my ankle, but yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
The last day.
Yeah, carry on. No, I was going to say there was stuff I was picking up that most people wouldn't. But obviously that's because I know you, and I know kind of the things you were talking about specifically. I don't want to say specifically, actually. I don't want to bait that out, but
you were in it.
I know I was in it. I heard it, and there was also the last bit I got very well, because I feel like that's where I started to, realize, like, because the first bits they were more you, but then the last bits they were you in a situation which I had seen. So yeah, I got those last bits.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, there's a person that is not in this poem.
But do you? That's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but like that last bit, I was like, yeah, there's someone missing here. There's meant to be someone there that you left out, and I was gonna ask you about it afterwards. But carry on. Sorry, I'm cutting into your thing.
It's
Sorry.
It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I didn't mention that person. That person knows who they are, and they know what part is about them, I guess. But I did not mention it because the whole poem is about sadness, and it's kind of just a portrayal of there's nothing, there's no happy ending, there's never a happy ending. And since that day, the last day, right, the last I'm referring to happened how many months ago? December?
A couple of months. Yeah, it was Christmas.
It was Christmas. Since that day, I have felt way better. I haven't been on an upward trajectory. I've had my very big dips. And there's a lot of moments that I didn't talk about. A lot of moments. A lot of moments with certain people. A lot of moments by myself. And a lot of crazy experiences that I felt with a higher power.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to word it, and I didn't want to speak about this person because there are no words to describe you, and there are no words to describe what happened to me. And that's why I just had to leave it there. Yeah, it's hard to put someone that amazing into words. It's not able to do that. A person knows who you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You're probably listening to this. You're a great person. You're a great friend. Probably the greatest friend I ever had, because I don't consider Tay a friend. He's family. Yeah. Probably the best friend I could ever ask for.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I was gonna quickly touch on this before. Like, okay, do you have anything else to say? Because I think we should end it with this.
No.
Okay, so I am not gonna upload this tomorrow, Yusuf, because tomorrow I have a lot of work to do to make the Spicy Podcast channel. This will be. But the thing is, I need to re-upload all of the old ones onto there as well. So that's why I think give it a couple of days, and this one will come out. I need to put all of the other ones up there, and then this one along with it. But yeah, tomorrow I gotta do that. And this will be the first one we've recorded in creation for that channel. So yeah.
I would say you don't even need to re-upload them.
Do you know what?
I say just leave them, because this one's very impactful. I feel like it's a lot more impactful.
Fair enough.
This is a great beginning, and then we can just start again.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the first few podcasts that we did were all experiments.
Yeah, for real.
And I think at this point in our like podcast kind of thing, we're very established. Like, we know what to do.
We know what to do now. You can tell by this that we just flow, really. But,
so I say start with this one.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm on that. But I'm very scared because I feel like it's been more than an hour, but I have not seen anything pop up. But it's fine. We'll end it now. This has been an experience, but yeah. We always somehow start off more light-hearted, and then by the end we just slander everything, make it so deep.
This was the first time I had a plan to say something.
Yeah.
I'm glad I said it, because it's quite important to me.
Yeah, and I feel like even other people can apply it to their own situations.
Yeah.
In their own sense.
And the reason, I just want to say this real quick. The reason I picked a soldier is because a soldier is the most masculine of a man that you can break out. And if a soldier is crying, then crying is accepted.
Yeah.
So, everything's good. I'm not depressed.
Anymore. What?
Anymore,
yeah, but let's end it there.
Let's end it there.
Bye.
End it, guys.